Good morning to myself. Hello, self. It is the Victoria Day long weekend in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta. And what does one do on a long weekend when there's not a cloud in the sky? Well, you jump on your bike and you go look for a place to have brunch. So that's the plan. Yesterday, I took my 2017 Suzuki Boulevard C50T and I gave it an oil change. Lots of videos on YouTube on how to do that. Now, a couple of things I want to share with my part of the process is that I'm not a mechanic. You know, I'm not your guy to rebuild engines or anything like that. But I've always sort of felt that knowing how to do something like change your oil, do minor adjustments, is an important part of vehicle ownership. Simply because it gives you, more of a hands-on familiarity with your bike or your car. And you can sort of see when things aren't working. Oh, why is that leaking? Or why is that frayed? It sort of puts you in front of the, under the hood, so to speak, and gets you a little bit more comfortable with all the moving pieces. I was originally planning on doing the oil change today, but I ordered everything off Amazon and on 2-day delivery, and it showed up on the first day. So yeah, I was ready to go. So yeah, today is brunch day. Driving right now up close to the University of Alberta. For those of you who are familiar with where I'm going down a piece of road we call Dwight Avenue, kind of a trendy part of Edmonton, lots of cute little shops and everything. One of the other, we'll call it semi-useful things to remember or be aware of, is that Dwight Avenue is also a destination for motorcyclists. About partway down, there's a Tim Hortons coffee shop that usually in the evenings, Friday night, Saturday night especially, the parking lot is full of bikers of all different bike types, shapes, sizes, genders. It's really kind of a neat place. I'm not I'm not part of a big group of bikers or anything like that, but it's kind of neat to just sort of stop by there, grab a coffee, wander around the parking lot and see what people are riding. So that's kind of fun. So, a little bit about me. Middle-aged, employed professional. Back when I was in university, or prior to starting university, I was riding a Honda Shadow 500. Beautiful little bike. Loved it. Light, cruiser style, you know, so at the time, that's what all the girls liked. Not that that was any reason to ride a motorcycle, but yeah, that was good. And then when I started university, I realized that textbooks and tuition were more important, so I sold it, got married, and yeah, sort of put my bike riding, you know, on the back shelf. And then a year ago, or thereabouts, a co-worker of mine and I were talking, and he was telling me about how he was taking the bike riding course and getting his license and getting himself a bike. And I was thinking, well, there's no reason why I can't have a bike, except for discussing with my wife, of course. On the right here is the Tim Hortons. I will look in the parking lot. No bikes. It's not unusual this early in the day. But yeah, so I went out, went to a few dealerships just to sort of see what was there and what I liked. And I really liked the look of this C50T. Talked to my wife, and she thought it would be okay. And here we are. Looking at the pretty girl who doesn't want to cross the street. So, yeah, that is kind of where we are. If you notice, we've got 6,700 kilometers on this so far. I bought it last June of 2018. And the first riding season, from June until about the end of September, I put 5,000 kilometers on it. You know, driving around and the occasional road trip, commuting to work every day. So you're looking at it going, but you, Bruce, 6,700 minus 5,000 is 1,700 kilometers, and it's only May. Yeah, I pulled the tarp off it this year in March. Wasn't riding every day in March, but you know, started riding in March and April, and now I'm using it to commute again every day in May. So it's good. Anyway, today is brunch day, so That is what the plan is. I'm just going to ride and enjoy the scenery for a bit. More Cowbell. All right. One of the things I wanted to talk about to myself is what was it like to get back on a bike after being off for 30 years? I mean, when I say off, I was off. Didn't ride a dirt bike, didn't borrow a friend's street bike at all. You know, I don't even want to call it riding, but anything that I did, you know, part of work, riding four-wheel ATVs and stuff like that. I mean, sure, there are handlebars in front of you, but being in traffic and being around people and being on two wheels, completely different. I probably made every mistake that a returning rider did. I bought this at a dealership, and like I said earlier, partly because I like the styling, I like the size, you know. which was all good. But yeah, picking it up at the dealership, that first ride home was a little white knuckling. What I should have done was signed up for a motorcycle course, taking it as a refresher, but I didn't. Nobody ever accused my mom's oldest son of being intelligent. So yeah, I picked it up at the dealership, drove home. Next day went down to a local bike supply place. You know, bought leather jacket. So, yeah, I probably wasn't set up for riding that first day. One thing I did do was I watched a lot of, YouTube videos, partly because I wanted to see what different bikes are out there, get some reviews and some ideas. If you're on YouTube and you're looking for ideas, channels to go to. If you found mine, you probably already found these other channels, but MC Rider, I'm going to say a guy about my age, motorcycle instructor. He presents information about safety and how to do things and personal experience that I found quite informative. You get into other sites that do have a retail business but also are very interested in sharing information. Revzilla, I like Lemmy over there, like his approach, like his delivery style. Another site I like to go visit was Fortnine. Ryan, good Canadian boy. If I had a son, I wish it was Ryan. But I think what I got from listening to a lot of these YouTube videos and, looking at the bikes they're talking about, you also get a sense of, what they do in various situations. They talk about bikes and how they fit and everything. They also talk a little bit about the whys. Why a cruiser is not your best choice for off-road bikes. Why your sport touring bike is, good middle of the road, gives you lots of options. Why your Hayabusa is not really what the middle-aged man who's been off a motorcycle for 30 years should really be buying. Those kind of things. So it was good. I found it very useful. So, am I the perfect rider right now? Oh, far from it. But I do think one of the things you have to do when you're riding, become a better rider, is to think about what you're doing. Think about the why you're doing it, and then get out and practice. There's a conversation that I've listened to, I want to say at least half a dozen times in the last year. Once I started, riding again. And it goes something like this. You see a guy pull into the Tim Hortons on Dwight Avenue, driving a Harley, and everybody comes up to him and says, "Oh, wow, nice bike." And he always tells the same story, no matter who the guy is. It's like, "Yeah, I had a buddy. He had this bike in his garage for 7 years. And every Saturday he would pull it out of his garage, start it up, let it warm up, turn it off, put it back in the garage." So it's 7 years old, but it's really, really low kilometers. And I bought it off him because he was scared of the bike. And that's fair. Healthy respect is important. But I think you also need to learn and practice, get comfortable, and also maybe, this is going to sound weird, but I want to say buy less of a bike than you think you want. Something that you're not going to be scared of, something that you realize is a little bit smaller than all of your friends ride, or something that is a little bit slower, smaller displacement in the engine or something. And it's not a crime to buy a bike and ride it for a year and get some experience, and then the next year upgrade. Lots of used bikes are for sale, and lots of new bikes are still for sale. If you don't buy the 2017 model year Harley, that's fine, because 2018 they're going to come out with virtually the same bike, virtually the same price. Anyway, take another break from talking. Because I am at breakfast.